I started Irish dancing at the age of 4 and then competed in a competitive scene for about 16 years before then ultimately joining the show. Fergus joined the show the same year as me, but just a little bit earlier on. And that kind of, um, I'd say was the loophole into my really, really wanting to get into the show. Seeing him throughout the summer, just really enjoy what he was doing. I think for a lot of competitive dancers, they think about professional dancing, but until it becomes a reality and it's something that you're like, I can actually pursue this, until that moment happens, you might not think about it before then. And then for a lot of people over the years, the process has changed in how you get into the show. At the moment, we have a thing called the summer school where we hold a week-long training program, um, both in Boston and in Dublin. And this year actually is in LA for the first time. So that's really exciting. But it's basically a week long where we train the dancers. They learn from the people that they're seeing on stage, the cast members that they get to see, and they learn the choreography in the show, what it's like to be a team player, a team member. And it just gives you an idea of if it's an environment that you enjoy being in, if it's somewhere that you think you can grow as a person and as a performer before then making a decision of becoming a professional dancer. Then there's also auditions that we hold sometimes near the World Championships or other big competitions where a lot of dancers would be at to make them see that this is something that they can do. And then there's just the old-fashioned way of, sending in an audition tape as well and or being scouted, that kind of thing.
I started dancing when I was 8 years old. I saw anime dancing and I thought it was pretty cool. And I saw Riverdance on TV, and I just had this moment where I completely fell in love with the show. I started tagging along to anime's dance classes after school. Just genuinely just fell in love with it. We started going to more classes. We started going to competitions. Then the competitions started becoming overseas. So we started going to major competitions in the US and the UK. Yeah, just the more we did it, the more we loved it. And in the back of our minds, there was always professional dancing, show dancing, and Riverdance was always, the kind of the goal in that. And once we were old enough then to become professional dancers, we took that opportunity, and we've been touring with Riverdance for nearly 9 years. And it's been an incredible journey, and I'm very lucky and very happy to have shared it with my sibling, Anime. And yeah, that's kind of been our journey of Riverdance or dance so far. But yeah, we've become best friends. We've become super close. We have a language that kind of we only speak. It's been phenomenal, to always have a family member with you, no matter where you are in the world. You could be in the middle of China, on Christmas Day, and a lot of the cast don't have their family members out there, and we do. And we've been really lucky in that sense to always have somebody in your corner, to always have that sense of support that we know our family gives us. And it's been a dream because we've both shared this kind of niche thing in our lives, Irish dance. And to be able to have somebody so close to you that loves it so much as well is fantastic.
I would agree. And just even from starting in the show to then progressing as lead, we've both done it together, but we've also both had our own journeys within the show. And that's really helpful as well, because when it comes to making difficult decisions or trying to grow in a certain area, or there's a multitude of things we can ask each other, because although we're sharing, it's someone who understands the process, what we're going through, but it's your own lived experience. And that's been really beneficial to help each other grow and to kind of piggyback off each other ideas and decisions and that kind of thing too. So it's been a blessing. I think for the past 30 years, there's a reason that people still come back to see the show. I think there's a magic that's somewhat indescribable, but then when you break it down, there's a multitude of things. When it comes to the music, our Grammy Award-winning composer, Bill Whelan, has put together an incredible score that people listen to, like us as dancers that listen to it every day because we dance to it. We listen to it in our downtime as well because it's so beautiful, and you miss the feeling when you're not on stage of hearing that music. And that's been recomposed for the 25th anniversary. So even that little update where it's updating with modern times and keeping it fresh, but keeping the core of Riverdance there. Then you have our producer, Moy Doherty, and our director, John McCalkin, who have worked tirelessly to modernize the show, but not change its traditional values, not change the story. We've updated costumes, set design, projection, the screen that you're seeing on stage. And then for the 30th, the new generation, it's the first time that the cast are younger than the show itself. A lot of our cast members had parents or relatives who were in Riverdance or were in the original performance of the Eurovision. So that gives them a different experience of growing up with the legacy and the importance of the show and being able to bring that to the current cast and to bring those elements that they've, learned from a young age. It brings a freshness, a new energy, a new feel, a new kind of drive behind the dancers that you're seeing on stage. And I think that's what's great about this version of the show.
So depending on what time the show is, and if it's just a regular show with like no travel or something beforehand, we would be in the theater by like 5 o'clock and or earlier than like 4:30, we'll say. And we would have food prepared, or we'd be just after eating, and then we would have our massage. So we have a massage therapist that travels with us and a physiotherapist. And that's the first thing we do. We get our massage for like 30 minutes, and then we do any extra stretching or anything before we do our hair and makeup. And then at about 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 6:10, we do what's called rotations, which is basically an hour rehearsal before every single show. And during that time, we step through each Irish dance number. So every cast member knows exactly what spot they're doing in each number, and we'll run through it. So Riverdance doesn't have swings. It has, or everybody needs to know every spot in every number. So that's why we rotate it, to keep the show fresh so that people are still learning. Um, gives people an opportunity to do something different every night. And we do that rehearsal, and then we have a warm up, which is about 35 minutes before the show starts. And then we'll do any rituals that we have. Me and Anime do have one. We give each other about a low five at beginner's call, which is about 5 minutes before the show starts. And then I've got a few other ones as well with other cast members. And then I've got ones by myself. I like to, once I have my dance shoes on, I like to go into the wing and wipe my shoes on the floor. Just, I don't know when it started or what had happened, but it happened and I have to do it now.
I sometimes just I like to just like with my hand kiss, say like the floor with my hand. No, wait, that sounds weird. I kiss my hand and then touch the floor or the curtain or something to do with the stage right before going on. And then for some reason I've noticed recently I put my left shoe on instead of my right. And now every time I go to do it, I'm like, I have to put my left shoe on first. I don't know why.
It's really a celebration of culture. It's about diversity and inclusivity. We have a flamenco dancer that's from Spain, and she's incredible. We have a number in the show called Fire Dance, and it's intertwining the flamenco rhythm with the Irish dancing rhythm. And it's like a battle of fire and ice, but it's really a celebration of the different cultures that we have. There's Eastern European folk dancing in the show, there's dervish dancing, and we have the same thing at the end of the show. And we also have American tap dancing, right? And that's also kind of like a dance off West Side Story type vibe. And it's really, really cool. It's always a crowd favorite. But by the end of the show, we have all of these other styles of dancers doing the Riverdance steps. And what happens usually, once we have like children in the audience or something, they're also up dancing in the aisles doing the same steps. And that's what Riverdance is all about. It's a celebration of diversity and inclusivity, having everybody dance with us. Touring
Yeah.
productions are how, it's basically our job. It's how we get to do what we do. It's how we share our talent, our love of art, our love of Irish dance, our love of culture. We look at ourselves as cultural ambassadors and not just Irish dancers, because we get to bring Ireland everywhere we go. And we wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for touring productions. We've been across the world with China to Australia, Japan, all over Europe, the USA, Canada, Mexico, all of these incredible places because of touring productions. And we have never taken it for granted. We feel so lucky to be able to do it. And as I said, it's basically bringing our culture and just sharing that.
There's so many people that work behind the scenes that, you go to watch a show and you see 20 something cast members on stage and you see the final production. You don't see the months or years work that have been put into getting the tour there and getting those people on stage. And we are nothing without those people that do that work, all of the crew, the wardrobe, the stage manager, the management, the company management, the local crew, the office, all of these people that work year round. You know, we get downtime. We get to go home for a couple of weeks and prepare. They work all year round, and we're nothing without them, and we need them. We rely on them, and we are very aware of all of that. And like Fergus said, it's incredibly important. The original Riverdance piece that aired at the Eurovision, when it comes to that number in the show, and you're at the top step, and there's a moment with a cloak, and you open the cloak, and you just hear the music begin after Cloud Song of the choir, after the choir have sang. For me, every time that gives me goosebumps because I think it's always a reminder of the original piece of what started it all. And it's just, I just feel grateful in that moment every time, you know, and that makes me excited, and that pushes me to just want to perform and want to do better than the last time. But like you said, the opening number, you know, and the dry eye starts coming on. Is that what you were going to say, Fergus?
The first tapping is actually like a real goosebumps moment because the cast slowly walk on stage out of the dark and the lights go down and then the sun comes up and it's diggity dum and you're just like poof and you get goosebumps. It's that is like one of my favorite pieces for sure. The first diddly stamps. That's what we call them, diddly stamps.